All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Department of Consumer Affairs webinar for physical fitness centers. My name is Adam Burr, and I'm one of the attorneys here at the department. I protect consumers by ensuring that businesses follow the law. My partner today is Deborah Lockhart, and she is the licensing supervisor. She oversees all of the department's licensing programs, and she's also a whiz with the department's online licensing platform. Today, we will talk about some of the following requirements for physical fitness centers. Please note that renewal season is now in full swing as it runs from November 1st through December 31st. If you have any questions during this webinar, please feel free to type them into the questions feature. We will have a designated time for questions and answers near the end of the presentation. First, a few housekeeping items before we get started. So you can type in your questions here, and as mentioned earlier, we'll have a designated time for questions and answers near the end of the presentation. And you can also find a handout of all the slides here. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we have a legal disclaimer. This presentation is not meant to serve as a substitute for reading the various laws discussed, seeking legal counsel, or otherwise requesting department guidance and/or interpretations on the laws that it administers and enforces. The presentation merely serves as an introduction and an overview. Today, we're going to talk about a brief intro of the department. Then we'll talk about some filing requirements. Then I will turn it over to Deborah, who will talk about using our online filing system, the licensing gateway. Then she'll turn it back over to me, and we'll talk about some contractual requirements. Then we'll briefly discuss advertising. Then we will briefly talk about enforcement matters. Finally, we'll go over some of the free resources available on our website. So we are the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs. Our mission is to protect consumers from marketplace inequities through advocacy, mediation, enforcement, and education. Now, while all of you are representatives of businesses, you are also consumers because you purchase consumer goods and services in the marketplace every day. We have many ways in which we can help you. You can file a complaint. You can report a scam, you can report identity theft, you can background a business, you can request a free presentation, and lastly, we can answer your questions. Here's our website. There are a lot of things that you can do on our website. You can file a complaint, get a license, background a business, report identity theft, report a scam, and request a presentation. And if you click the About Us menu, you can find out about the many things that we do here at the department. Now I want to show you about searching complaints on our website. By searching complaints, you're able to background a business. You can see how many complaints the business has. You can see the dates of the complaints. You can see summaries of the complaints. And you can see how the complaints were closed according to the department's guidelines. So here is a screenshot of our complaints database for a business that I picked. Now you might notice that this particular business seems to have a lot of complaints. The quantity of complaints is not necessarily the most important thing to consider when evaluating a business. It is more important to evaluate the type of complaints and how the complaints are resolved. And you can see that this company has mostly satisfactory resolutions. So now we really come to the meat of our presentation. So first, let's go over the definition of physical fitness services. They are facilities or services for the development of physical fitness through exercise or weight control. The term includes health or exercise centers, clubs, studios, or classes, health spas, weight control centers, clinics, or studios, figure salons, tanning centers, and athletic or sport clubs. So what are not considered to be physical fitness services? Rehabilitative therapy administered by a licensed physical therapist. Additionally, even if it fits the definition of physical fitness services, the following are exempt from the Physical Fitness Services Act: the state of South Carolina and any of its political subdivisions, and any not-for-profit corporations. So what about gymnastics, martial arts, dance studios, etc.? All of those would be considered physical fitness centers if they are advertising as physical fitness centers. So some examples of advertising include: martial arts is a great way to stay physically fit. Here, physical fitness is being promoted. Gymnastics will allow your child to develop strength, agility, and coordination. So here, strength, agility, and coordination are all byproducts of physical fitness. So physical fitness is being promoted. So what must you file and when do you need to file it? Well, you must file for a certificate of authority annually by December 31st. The cost is $50 per location. And you must also file an annual report annually by June 30th. Now, there is no fee if the annual report is filed on time. The annual report is subject to a late fee of $50 if it is not filed on time. Now, are there any additional filing requirements that your business might need? Well, depending on your business model, you may also need to file for a credit grantor notification, which is $120 per location, and a maximum rate schedule, which is $40 per location. Now, I will briefly go over both of them today. However, both Deborah and I will be presenting our registered creditor renewal webinar tomorrow, which will cover these filings in more detail. So what are the conditions of having to file either the credit grantor notification and/or the maximum rate schedule? Well, a credit grantor notification is required if you extend credit using written contracts and your gross volume of business exceeds $150,000. A maximum rate schedule is required if you charge a credit service charge in excess of 18% APR. Now, there's not a statutory cap on the amount of a finance charge that you can charge. You can charge any rate that is both properly filed and posted. So let's discuss membership options, because this is really the driving factor as to what you need to file. The type of membership options that you have are critical to determining whether any additional requirements are needed, such as having a compliant contract or maintaining a surety bond, and also if a credit grantor notification or a maximum rate schedule is required. Now, the department typically sees 3 membership options that physical fitness centers offer. They are month-to-month, prepaid, and credit. Now, month-to-month means that the consumer pays monthly for the months that he wants to use the facilities. There are not any long-term commitment requirements in a month-to-month membership. The next is prepaid, which means that the consumer pays in advance for the right to use the facilities. For example, a consumer pays $500 up front for a 12-month contract. This is a prepaid contract because the center has not yet earned the money because the provisions of the monthly services after the first month have not happened yet. Now, the last one is credit, which occurs when either the debt is payable in installments or a credit service charge is made. So we'll look briefly at what those definitions mean. The first one is payable in installments. And this by far is the most common form of credit transaction that the department sees with physical fitness centers. So payable in installments means 4 or more periodic payments, excluding a down payment where a credit service charge is not imposed. So for example, let's say that a consumer signs a 12-month contract The amount due is $600, but the center permits the consumer to pay 12 $50 payments. The debt is payable in installments. Now, payable in installments also means 2 or more periodic payments where either a credit service charge is imposed excluding a down payment, or when any periodic payment is more than twice the amount of any other payment excluding the down payment. So now let's briefly go over what is a credit service charge. So generally speaking, it's an extra charge that the consumer must pay as a result of paying over time instead of purchasing with cash. Think of it like interest. For example, let's say that a consumer signs a 12-month contract. The consumer can pay $500 in full upfront, or the consumer can make 12 $50 payments. Here, the cash price would be $500, while the credit price would be $600. That extra $100 difference between the cash price and the credit price is the credit service charge. Now we'll look at the credit service charge expressed as an APR. So we'll use the same example from the previous slide. The consumer purchases a 12-month contract. The consumer can pay either $500 up front or pay 12 monthly payments of $50 for a total of $600. Now, when that $100 is is expressed as an APR, the result is 35.07%. And as 35.07% is higher than 18%, a maximum rate schedule would be needed in this situation. So now let's look at the posting requirements of the certificate of authority and the maximum rate schedule. Now, the certificate of authority must be posted in a conspicuous location where monies or contracts are received by the center. A maximum rate schedule must be posted in a conspicuous location in every place of business in the state. So what about websites or other digital locations? If customers can apply for memberships online or make payments online, then a copy of the certificate of authority needs to be uploaded to the website. Now, whether the website or other digital location must be included as a location in the application for a certificate of authority, it's a little bit more nuanced, and the department is currently evaluating that. Now, for the credit grantor notification, if credit is being extended online or payments for credit transactions can be made online, then you will need to file a credit grantor notification for your website or other digital location, such as an app, as a separate location. And for the maximum rate schedule, you will need to file for a maximum rate schedule for your website or other digital location as a separate location if credit is being extended online at over 18% APR. And a copy of your maximum rate schedule would also need to be posted to your website or other digital location. Now let's talk about financial responsibility. All centers that offer prepaid or credit contracts of over 3 months in duration or over $200 in amount must maintain a surety bond based on the total amount of members that the center has. This is all members, not just the prepaid or credit members. Now, the $200 amount is increased to $300 for personal trainers. Now, if you have between 1 and 99 members, you will need to maintain a $10,000 bond. If you have between 100 and 499 members, you will need to maintain a $20,000 bond. If you have between 500 and 999 members, you will need to maintain a $30,000 bond. If you have between 1,000 and 1,499 members, you will need to maintain a $40,000 bond. And if you have 1,500 or more members, you will need to maintain a $50,000 bond. So now I'm going to turn it over to Deborah Lockhart to speak on filing online. So bear with us for one moment as we switch control of the presentation.
Hello, this is Deborah Friday Lockhart, licensed supervisor with South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs. I hope everyone is having a good day. Today, I'm going to be going over the physical fitness and annual report process, along with some frequently asked questions. We realize that some of you may have already filed online or filed by paper. By the way, paper renewal packages can still be mailed to the department, but filing online is quick and easy. Now, after December 31st, your certificate of authority is expired. The renewal period is November 1st through December 31st. But right now, the license department is short-staffed, so we appreciate your patience while your applications are under review and being processed. The department is open to the public for drop-off applications, but please avoid the hassle and file online. Just go to dcagateway.sc.gov. We are happy with our online system. Sometimes you're going to see information that is not required for physical fitness providers. This online system is used for 15 programs the department regulates, such as prepaid legal, motor club, athlete agent, registered creditors, continued care retirement, and credit counseling, just to name some of them. This system will allow the physical fitness administrators to have access to the business information at any time. And of course, it's called the Licensure Gateway. The website is dcagateway.sc.gov. And we want to thank all of those who have registered and already started using the online system. If you haven't registered, please take advantage and use it. We do have administrative guides that are available on the department's website. This guide will give you information on how to use the Licensure Gateway. Now, to use the Licensure Gateway, you need to register. If you have already registered to use the Licensure Gateway, you do not need to register again. You would just log in using your username and password you registered with first. We have a lot of new licensees, so we wanted to go over this process. So let's go through the process of how to register. Of course, you would select Register Now. Then you would enter your name and email address. And remember, if you've already registered, you can just skip this process. You would choose a password and verify that password, then select Next. You will verify the information and then click Next. You're going to get a verification page. Now, you will receive a confirmation. Once you receive that confirmation, you can print that for your records. Remember to always keep your information in a safe, secure place. Then you would just click Exit. You're all registered. Now, you're all set to log into the Licensure Gateway with your created email and password. Now, let's talk about becoming an organization administrator. What is an organization administrator? The organization administrator will be the person or persons at the Physical Fitness Center who will be responsible for processing initials, renewals, printing certificates, paying fees, or making changes. In order to become an administrator, you must submit an administrator's request to the department online, and the department has to approve that administrator's request. So let's go through the process of submitting an administrator request. Once you've logged into the licensure gateway, you would just click on organization administration, or under user options, you'll be able to click on organization administrator also. You're going to enter your personal social security number, then select search. Now, the system uses the social security number to consolidate an individual's license and so they can have access to the information in the system. Now, let's take this for example. If Joe Smith has a license as a prepaid legal representative for Company a license as a motor club representative for Company B, but he's also the organization administrator for Company C, all of that access information will be visible on Joe's homepage, and it's all based on his social security number. If you get to the screen and you get an error message, most likely you have already registered, so you won't be able to go any further. Hopefully you have not registered, so you're just going to hit the continue button. If you have any problems, please contact us. We will be happy to help you with that. Using the drop-down arrow, you're going to begin typing. You're going to select your business from the list. Now, some businesses have very, very similar names, so be sure you are selecting the correct business and the correct address. Make sure the address is correct. All of the department licensees are in this list. So that means that you have physical fitness facilities, credit counselors, athlete agents. All of the department's licensees are in this list. The corporate name is actually in the list, not the DBA name. So say if your business corporate name is Deborah's Training LLC, doing business as Deb Soft Spot. Deb Soft Spot will not be in the list, just the corporate name. Sometimes some of our licensees are looking for their DBA names, but DBA names are not in the list. You will be returned to the home page and see a banner, and that banner is going to indicate a pending admin request has been found. So if you look under here, right there, there will be no business information there yet. But once you are approved, you will actually be able to see your business name. Now, if your request has not been approved within 1 business day, please contact the department. Like I said, we're super short-staffed in the licensing department up here, but we're trying to get these applications processed and administrators' requests processed as soon as possible. After your request has been approved, you will be able to see your business information. So now you see in the red circle, the name of your business will be right up under organization. Now, this is only just a reminder. Attorney Adam Burr, I'm always calling him Mr. Burr. So Attorney Adam Burr went over a lot of this. But if your business offers physical fitness services, you must file for a certificate of authority with the department and pay the required $50 fee for each location. And required documents should be uploaded. Now, let's go over the renewal process. After you have registered the user gateway, we're going to follow the steps and we're going to actually submit a physical fitness renewal application today. You must have been registered, and if you had registered before, you don't need to register again. So you would just log into the licensure gateway. We love our new system. It's not new now, but we're still enhancing and doing things to it. So just log into the licensure gateway at dcagateway.sc.gov. So now let's start the business renewal process. You're going to log in using your email address and password. Now, once you're in, you're going to click on expiring soon. Click here to renew. Okay. So let's kind of explain what's on this screen. Let's take just a few moments just to explain what's on this screen. Okay, so at the very top here, that's home. Home is just what it is. User options allows you to apply for a license or allows you to apply to be an administrator. Account profile, it allows you to change your email address. Say if you need to change your password, this is where you can go in and change your password. You can also change your email address here. Contact SCDCA gives you the department's contact information, takes you to the department's website and gives you information. And under contact information licensees, it gives you your information. Say I had two companies. There's Deborah's Fit LLC, and then I had ABC LLC. And Deborah's Fit LLC is the physical fitness facility. It's expiring soon. I have one that I had to inactivate. So then up under organizations, it tells you have two organizations match up here, two organizations. Unauthorized apps is not used for this program. This system is used for 15 different programs. Pending invoices. If you have pending invoices, you would be able to click on them and pay them from here. Paid invoices. Sometimes your administrative department may need to see receipts from invoices in the past. You'll be able to click on paid invoices and of course see those. And then up here at the very top, background checks. Background checks are not required for physical fitness facilities. This program, like I said, this system is used for different programs. Okay. So after you have clicked on the expiring soon, you're going to actually click on the renewal application under options. You should always read over the instructions, make sure you understand the instructions, and then you're going to click on I agree at the very bottom and then next. Now here you will find the physical fitness definitions, and Mr. Adam Burr went over all of those definitions and the requirements for the renewal application. And like I said, if you have any questions, please give us a call. We are here for you. Now, most of the business information will already be pre-populated for you. So you would just be reviewing the information and then entering in any required information, and then you would just select next. You would continue to review the company's information. Under the company owners, if you need to add new owners, of course, you can hit the add button and then you'll be able to add owners. If you need to edit, you're able to also edit information on the screen. If you got a new company owner and you need to edit that information, you can edit it here also. Now, let's go over the information on the location page, okay? So if you want to add a location, of course, you can add a location. If you need to edit a location, you can click on the edit button. You'll be able to edit locations. But you must click on verify for all locations to proceed through the application. So you see here where it says verify, you must click on that in order to go through the application. Now we're not going to actually add a location to the renewal, but we're going to click on edit to see what happens when you edit a location. So once you click on edit, you can make any necessary changes here. You can also inactivate the location here. Then you would save and verify. So say this location is not going to be active any longer. You click on the drop down arrow and you can inactivate that location. Now to have a renewal, to do a renewal or have a company, you have to have at least one location. You must click on verify for the location to proceed through the application. So let's click on verify. Now, once you click on verify, notice that the location is checked and has turned green. So then you would select next. You're going to read and answer all of the questions. Once all the questions are answered, you would just select next. You will be able to upload. We're going to talk about uploading. You will be able to upload any required documents after your application has been submitted. You want to make sure you pay attention to the questions that you have and read them very closely. We went over the questions earlier. Mr. Burr went over the questions earlier about do you use prepaid or credit contracts. So make sure you read those questions carefully in the application and answer those correctly. Continue to answer the questions and then select next. Now you're going to enter the required surety bond information. If surety bond information is required, it's going to come up in your application, and it depends upon how you answer those questions. So you will enter the surety bonds information and then select next. And then here is a brief breakdown of the amounts that the surety bonds, for the number of members you have, the surety bonds should be a certain amount. Next, you're going to get a verification page. You're almost done. Clicking on the green check marks allows you, the green check marks here, allows you to make changes or edit your application before submitting it. So if you need to make changes, you can make those. You will continue to view the application, review that verification page. You can also click on previous at the bottom of the page, and it takes you back for editing. Once you're finished reviewing the page, the verification page, you're actually going to click on I agree, and then you're going to go ahead on and submit the application to us. Once you have submitted your application, you have the option to mail a check or money order to the department. But the fastest way to get your application processed would be to pay online and upload the documents. Do those two, pay online, upload documents. We do have an administrator's guide, that user guide that will walk you straight through the process of paying online. So say if you selected pay online, it's going to take you straight to the invoices where you could pay. And then, like I said, we have a user guide. That user guide tells you how to pay invoices by check, tells you how to pay invoices by credit card. Now, once you're back on the home page, you're going to click to check the status of your renewal, which allows you to upload. So if you click where it says, click here, the blue box, the blue light up box, click here to check the status of your renewal. Now, your application has been submitted. So you want to check the status of your renewal and you want to upload those documents. You're going to click on the blue tile to check the status of your renewal application and to upload documents. Now, this is so important here. I want to say that again. This is so important here. Why upload documents? There's no need for the department to send you a deficiency letter. It saves time. Sometimes mail could get lost, or it's late, or with the holidays starting, mail could be late. Application gets processed quicker. Your application gets processed quicker. Once approved, you can print and post your certificate in your place of business. You don't have to. It's all done for the year. Okay, so let's talk about uploading right quick. So you're going to click on plus upload to upload documents. Now, only GIF, BMP, TIF, JPG, and PDF files are acceptable as uploads. I always use the PDFs. So you click on the plus upload and you're able to upload the required documents. You will see view files. That means your documents have been uploaded. So once you've uploaded your documents, go ahead and click on back to license, or you could click on home. Okay, so now You're actually on the home page. The department will review your application. Once your application is approved, the contact person on file will receive an approval email. But you're also going to receive a receive email. Once we get your application in, the department will send you an email and they will let you know, we will let you know that we have received your application. Now, your renewal application has been approved. Notice the expiration date here. Next year. Now, once it's approved, you're going to get an approval email. You got a received email, now you get an approval email. And this is going to be sent to the contact person or administrator on file once approved. Sometimes the administrator and the contact person is the same person. So you're going to get an email telling you that you can log into the licensure gateway, download your certificate, and print that certificate. Now, printing certificates is easy. We don't get a lot of questions like we did early on printing certificates, but we do have a user guide, and that guide walks you through printing certificates. So if you have your user guide and you have your printer, you can print those certificates and get them posted. If you have any questions about printing, just let us know. We're just not going to go through the entire process because we don't get a lot of questions on printing certificates anymore. We're so glad that we made that clearer for you. And we also have it on the department's website on the physical fitness page, how to print certificates. And that user guide, like I told you we have, it tells you how to print certificates. Now, once you have printed your certificate or you have your certificate ready to be printed, you're going to review the certificate, then post it in a conspicuous place at your facility. Follow the same process to print the license for the second location if you have a second location. But you want to pay attention to the name and make sure everything's spelled right, the address. You want to make sure that the certificate lets you know that it's a physical fitness center in South Carolina. You want to look at the expiration dates. Make sure the expiration date is for next year. You see the certificate number, PHL, that's for the location. And then also you want to make sure that the certificate is signed by our administrator, Carrie Groovy-Leibacher. So just pay attention to your certificate before you post it. Everything should be great, should be fine, but we like to make sure that you pay attention to those things. And just remember that the certificate is not transferable. Now we do have some good news we want to go through, we want to go through pretty quick. So good news is that you can file your annual report online. So when is my annual report due to the department? Annual reports for the previous calendar year must capture the required information annually from January 1st through December 31st. Annual reports for 2023 must not be submitted to the department before January 1st annually. Annual reports submitted after June 30th are subject to a penalty of $50. In other words, you can't submit your annual reports to the department during renewals. Some physical fitness facilities may not have submitted an annual report for 2022, and those reports may be submitted, but you will require a $50 late fee. Annual reports. File online January 1st through June 30th annually. Late fee is $50 after June 30th. Paper and reports can be mailed to the department, or you can drop those off. Paper applications must be dated between January 1st and June 30th to avoid a late fee, but filing online is quick and easy. So let's see how to file your annual report. So you would just log into the licensure gateway. You're going to click on annual report due. Click here to submit your annual report. Up under options, you're going to click on annual report form. You're going to read over the instructions that tells you about annual reports. And then you're going to click I agree and then next. You're going to answer the questions, which is not but about 5 questions. And then you're going to hit next. And then you're going to review all the questions, review all the answers, and then click I agree, and then go ahead on and submit your application. You're going to review the entire verification page, just like you did with the renewal. Clicking on the green check marks allows you to change your answers, or clicking on previous at the bottom of the page allows you to change your answer. Once you finish reviewing, you're going to submit your application to the department. Now, your application is complete. There's no fee for this application. So you just select return to gateway. The only time it's a fee is that when it's actually filed late. Okay, your annual report has now been submitted and is being reviewed by the department. So if you click on an annual report has been submitted and being reviewed, see right here, you click there. It lets you know that your report has been submitted to the department. An application received email will be sent to the contact person or administrator, let you know that we received your annual report. And then also, once the department approves your annual report, you'll get another approved emails telling you that your annual report is now complete. Okay, we do have just a few frequently asked questions. After I've submitted my physical fitness renewal application online, how long will it take to receive my certificate? Applications are reviewed in the order they're received. If documents are required, the department will send you the deficiency letter by email. Now, once the application is approved, the contact person on file will receive an email informing them their application has been approved, and they may log into the licensure gateway and print their certificate. And we gave you instructions on that also. We have that user guide for you. Okay. So that's information on how do I print my certificates. We talked about that briefly, but we have instructions on our website. And then we also have that user guide for you also. If I found my annual report late, can I pay the late fee online? No, not at this time. All late fees must be mailed to the department. When is my annual report due to the department? We talked about that earlier. Annual reports are due January 1st through December 31st. Where can I find information on my registration with South Carolina Secretary of State's office? South Carolina Secretary of State's website is, you see the website there, sos.sc.gov, or you can contact them. I call them a lot, 803-734-2158. How do I change my business address? Email any address changes to, I hope you can see that, to legal@scconsumer.gov, legal@scconsumer.gov, and also we'll give you our contact information. If I filed an initial physical fitness application, how will I know if I'm required to submit an agreement or contract for review to the department? If the business uses written agreements or contracts, it must be submitted to the department for review. Will a surety bond continuation be required to submit to the department? If a center offers prepaid credit contracts for physical fitness services over 3 months or duration or over $200 in amount, a surety bond must be submitted to the department. And also for personal trainers, that's over $300. I think we went over that earlier in a couple of slides. If my business has multiple rate sheets, will my business be required to submit all rate sheets to the department for review? Yes, all rate sheets must be submitted to the department for review. Where can I find the required information to include on my contract agreement? We do have that information on our website, and also you can find that information in section 447930. We do have samples of physical fitness contracts that you are able to use. Also, they are on the department's website, or either you can just contact us. We'll be happy to email you a sample contract. Why am I required to upload documents when there are no changes? The department requires that current documentation be submitted to the department to verify that there are no changes have been made throughout the year. So yes, we do need for you to upload those documents every year. Okay. And just a few reminders right quick. Submit your renewals early. If you've already submitted your renewals, thank you. The renewal period is November 1st to December 31st. Applications, if they're mailed, they must be postmarked by December 31st. And reports are due by June 30th. We talked about that. And see the department's website for the organization administrator user guide that will give you a wealth of information. And this is our contact information. We're short staffed, so you can send your questions to me. I'll be answering those questions. And then Corey is our licensed attorney. And we're both trying to do all we can to get these applications processed. So if you file online and upload, it makes it quicker. And then, of course, you heard from Adam Burr earlier. So you don't want to hear a lot from the enforcement attorney. So you want to get those documents and everything that we need in. So now I am actually going to turn it back over to Adam Burr. He's going to take you guys out. Thank you so much. And everyone have a wonderful, wonderful day.
So now we'll look at some contractual requirements for physical fitness centers. Again, if you're offering prepaid or credit contracts of over $200 or $300 for personal trainers, or if your contracts are for over 3 months duration, then you must have a contract that complies with state law. Prepaid contracts must comply with the Physical Fitness Services Act, and credit contracts must comply with both the Physical Fitness Services Act and the Consumer Protection Code. Let's look at some contractual prohibitions. A contract may not allow for delinquency charges to be imposed before the customer is more than 10 days delinquent. A contract may not allow delinquency charges to exceed the lesser of 5% of the unpaid installment or $23 unless you contract for a minimum delinquency charge, which would be $9.20. A contract may not seek attorney's fees from the customer that exceed 15% of the unpaid installment. The contract may not seek attorney's fees from the customer for an attorney that is a salaried employee of the center or its assignee. A contract may not waive the required provisions of the Physical Fitness Services Act. The contract may not provide that a right of action or defense of the member may be cut off by assignment of the contract to a third party. A contract may not be for a term longer than 24 months. However, if you can demonstrate financial responsibility and you have been in operation for 5 or more years, then you may have a contract with a term of up to 36 months if it's approved by the department in writing. A contract may not have a length measured by the life of the member, the life of the center, or any similar indefinite term. And remember that any contractual provision that does not comply with the Physical Fitness Services Act is unenforceable against the member. Prepaid and credit contracts must be in writing if it is more than 3 months in duration or more than $200 in amount or more than $300 for a personal trainer. The contracts must reveal the finance charge, if any, that the member agrees to pay. The contracts must clearly state the street address or location of the center or outlets, the outlets that the member may use, the major facilities and services offered, and which services are not subject to refund. Credit contracts must have the appropriate TILA disclosures. Furthermore, if the contract has a time price differential, the cash price must be listed on the contract separate from the TILA disclosures. And the contracts must also contain the right to cancel language. So here you can see what the TILA boxes look like, as well as the itemization of the amount financed. Now, since we are on the topic of credit and TILA, I want to briefly address some issues that we are seeing. The first is charging a processing fee to consumers who pay their monthly installments with a credit card. Now, that processing fee can be passed on to the consumers. However, it is incidental to the extension of credit, which makes it a finance charge. It therefore must be included in the calculation of the finance charge and then expressed as an APR. Now, the other issue that we are seeing is requiring consumers to use electronic funds transfer, including ACH, as a condition of extending credit. Now, you can give consumers the option to use electronic funds transfer as a payment method. However, it is a violation of federal law to require electronic funds transfer as the payment method as a condition for extending credit. Now let's discuss the right to cancel. There are 4 reasons outlined in the Physical Fitness Services Act that require cancellation. So let's look at those reasons. So credit and prepaid contracts must contain a right to cancel within 3 business days after signing the contract. The member's death. Now this might seem strange, but it means that the contract cannot be enforced against the member's estate. There is a substantial physical disability certified by a physician, which makes it permanently impossible for the member to use the center's services, and the member's permanent relocation to a residence over 50 miles distant from an outlet operated by the center. If the center is unable to arrange for the member's use of another center with equivalent major facilities and services. Now let's examine some optional contractual provisions. Credit and prepaid contracts may have more liberal rights of cancellation than outlined in the statute. So for example, the contract allows for a right of cancellation when the member relocates to a residence 25 miles distant from the nearest outlet, while the statute calls for 50 miles. The contract may provide for an extension of the term of the agreement for a period equal to a period of temporary disability or pregnancy of the member, or for any other justifiable or reasonable cause. The contract may specify that the written contract constitutes the entire agreement between the parties. And lastly, the contract may have a renewal option. Speaking of renewal options, there are 2 renewal options, the standard renewal option and the automatic renewal option. The standard renewal option can be for longer than 1 month, but no more than 12 months. It must be exercised by the buyer in writing or by payment by the buyer of all or part of the renewal price, and must be exercised only near the expiration of the previous contract. With the automatic renewal provision, the duration cannot be for more than 1 month. These are essentially on a month-to-month basis. And the member must select it and initial it at the time that the initial contract is executed. This is an opt-in provision. The provision must be disclosed in bold type of at least 14 point on the front page of the contract. A written reminder must be sent to the member near the expiration of the contract and before the automatic renewal, and the price may not increase or decrease unless written notice is given to the member 30 to 60 days before the price changes. So now we come to advertising. This is an overview of the prohibited and permissible provisions for physical fitness advertising. Don't advertise services that are not operating and available unless you clearly and conspicuously disclose in the advertisement that such services are not presently operating or available. Don't advertise services that are not operating and available in each and every outlet unless the advertisement clearly and conspicuously discloses the facilities or services which are not operating or available at each outlet. All advertisements must contain the name and office address of the entity, which must match the department's records. All restrictions on the use of special offers for memberships must clearly and conspicuously be disclosed in the advertisement. So some examples of restrictions include day and time restrictions or restrictions on equipment or area. Be mindful of using the word free. Look over the FTC's guidance and consider using complimentary or at no additional charge. Be cautious of referral sales. You can't offer a discount or something of value to a consumer to refer a friend before a credit contract is signed. You can offer a reward for a consumer referring a friend after the contract is signed. Now let's briefly go over potential enforcement actions for violations. We'll also look at some notification requirements for physical fitness centers. Violations of the Physical Fitness Services Act are subject to fines of up to $500 per violation and up to $5,000 in a calendar year. And all violations of the Physical Fitness Services Act are also automatically unfair trade practices. So now let's look at some potential consequences for committing an unfair trade practice. There can be fines of up to $5,000 per violation. The consumer could sue you for actual damages plus treble damages and attorney's fees. And lastly, unfair trade practices that arise out of the sale, production, or promotion of consumer goods, services, or interest in land are subject to action by the department. Now let's look at some events that trigger some notification requirements. You must notify the department within 10 business days if any governmental agency initiates revocation, suspension, or other proceedings against you that are related to physical fitness services in any state. Someone sues the physical fitness center. After the lawsuit is settled, dismissed, or otherwise resolved, you must notify the department within 30 days. You must notify the department if bankruptcy, reorganization, or receivership proceedings are filed by or against the physical fitness center. If you open or close any new physical fitness center or outlet in South Carolina. And if you have felony indictments or convictions involving breach of trust, moral turpitude, fraud, or dishonest dealings. Let me take this time to tell you how to connect with us on social media. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel. We have tons of free resources on our website. These include our Ditch the Pitch, which concerns scams, our ID theft prevention guide, which tells you steps to prevent becoming a victim of identity theft, as well as measures to take to mitigate the damage should you become a victim of identity theft. And our credit report guide tells you what to know about reviewing your credit report. And we also have dozens more. And all of our publications can also be sent to you completely free of charge. All right, so here's my contact information again. If you have any additional questions later, please feel free to reach out to me. Now, thank you for watching this presentation, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.